Welcome to the Cammish Manor for another terrain walkthrough. Building out manor setups may be my favorite thing to do. I like to work on symmetry and create layouts that I think make, some sense. I'm not an architect by any means, but making these setups, so it's almost like a D&D map come to life, that I would draw. But I don't draw, I pre-visualize in my head and build as I go, have a general idea. Let's go in for a closer look. Here is the mongrel folk groundskeeper. Now, much of this build is Dwarven Forge. It's really good for making these type of builds because you can really set up and switch things up as you go quite easily. I use some Dungeon of Doom pieces for the entry hall and these terrific Galadoria Games statues in all four corners. This is the family parlor. And again, I got some Galadoria Games chairs in here, Gothic chairs. And a sofa, a piano, a little liquor cabinet, a grandfather clock, and a hearth. And the noble family gathered here. Across the hallway is a bedroom. And this is a WizKids Games bed. Another Galadoria game piece here. This little dresser. Oh, another WizKids game piece with this bearskin rug and fireplace. And a tiny furniture wardrobe. And we continue through. Clearly this is an old manor because it has some decrepit doors here and there. This leads into a privy and a washroom. Now step back so we can then zoom in, all right? We've got this hallway with stairs leading to the second floor and double doors leading into the dining hall, which has a hearth and a grand table for 8. A little cabinet there. And then the kitchen. The kitchen has a stove and a table and a cask, as well as a sink for washing. Off the kitchen, we've got this Dungeon of Doom corner door piece that leads into a pantry or a larder. Over here, we've got the servants' quarters. These are 2 bunk beds from Galadoria Games. And then a privy. I didn't have a third privy, so I just used the some stairs from Dwarven Forge. Now, you've only seen one privy, but there is one upstairs. On the other side of the dining room, we've got the guards' servants' dining room, where they also practice their daggers and crossbow quarrels, weapons rack. I love this table. It's from Galadoria Games. Really nice detail and painting on there. And then, for this is a kind of a nefarious family, the Cammishes. And this is the doctor that's in their employ. And look, she's got like concoctions going on over here. This little table is great. It's from Galadoria Games. Look at, there's a mortar and pestle. There's some mushrooms and potion vials. But she's doing some other experiments. Look at this. There's some Dwarven Forge mini terrain pieces here, right? Set decor. A blade with a bowl of blood. Some sort of giant heart. And again, this is a matching hearth from WizKids games that matches the one in the parlor. So again, we have stairs here leading up. Let me pull back so you can get the big picture. And these stairs lead up to the second floor here. And you've got railing coming up, and it's kind of a landing that leads to the master suite, the nursery, and there's some stairs that lead up to the attic, but there's another doorway that leads to this hallway. Now here, I've used Dwarven Forge City Builder terrain for the second floor. I don't have, much more Dwarven Forge dungeon tiles, so I couldn't be totally consistent building it out, but that's okay. This works really nice. Look, a master bedroom balcony. Again, this is on the second floor. And then these dungeon tiles are from Galadoria Games, along with that great bed. And we'll go inspect the other rooms too. So this is the total top floor. We've got the master suite, the nursery, another bedroom, a library office, and another bedroom. So here's the nursery. I still have to paint up that little wooden horse. And this is baby Jesus from the Reaper Nativity set. We've got a nanny in there with a bed. And this WizKids mini from Curse of Strahd as another toy. Makes a nice little touch, I think. The master suite has these two nightstands that I love with candles on them. Those are from Galadoria Games. You got kind of a fancy bed. This is maybe where the noble lady uses the potions to fix her face up. We've got a wardrobe here from WizKids. Look, we got a mirror. And they have their own privy up here. That is the master suite after all. I also have a little wood stove to keep the place warm, as well as in this bedroom. Yeah, I love that bed. This little table is great. That's from WizKids. Then we've got some Manic Games terrain in there. And then the younger child's bedroom with closet. Now matching those servant bunk beds, this is a single bed from Galadoria Games. So that's the second floor. So we've been to the first, from taking you through a tour on the first floor to the second floor. Now let's head up to the attic. So these stairs lead up to a hatch that leads to the attic, filled with crates and all sorts of goodies. I use these WizKids game pieces, the armor dummies, as dress dummies. And I just said, oh, they had dresses on them. This is one of my favorite crate pieces with the net on it. Galadoria Games, as is this little chest here. And look at that. It's another unique Galadoria Games piece. I really love that company. They don't just make great items. They are really good folks too. And they're really decent. In fact, I use these cemetery wall pieces from them to represent the gated wall surrounding the manor. But back to here. Up in the attic, there's also a room where they keep one of their children, a teen boy, hostage. And I use this little WizKid Games bucket for his bodily functions, his harsh living conditions. So there's the attic, from the third, which is the third floor. The second floor, living quarters. First floor, and then this building, which is the groundskeeper's shack. his living quarters, and also where he keeps tools and supplies. Framed by some Gamescape 3D terrain, stables, and guest quarters. For the guest quarters, I put in, here's another tiny furniture, wardrobe, a couple Dwarven Forge beds, and WizKids bunk beds. WizKids wheelbarrow, and a well. Now, can't forget this awesome mat by Cigar Box Battles. The bushes, this particular cobblestone path mat, and the bare trees are from Monster Fight Club. Now, this should have represented hours of role-playing and exploration, but the players threw me for a loop, and before the night was over, had killed the youngest daughter and rescued the oldest or the youngest son from the attic. And it was pretty funny, even though it went against my expectations, what I had anticipated they did. It was great because it ultimately took 7 players who had different ideas about what they wanted to have happen in the campaign and different interests, and brought them all together with a single purpose now, as they have made powerful enemies. I hope you enjoyed this terrain walkthrough. I really had a lot of fun building it. I'm going to be sad breaking it down, but I want to make a good record of it because I may have to build it again depending on what the player characters do. If you enjoy this, please like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at InkdMage for extra XP.